Marhaba. Congratulations, we have finished all of the letters of the alphabet. Now, we have to go back to one of the letters. So, do you guys remember we covered this letter a while back? And we said BRB, we're going to come back to it. And we covered initial position, and we came back. We said we're going to come back to medial position. So this is the Hamza, and of course, we all know the Hamza makes the okay? Now, we know that in initial position, the Hamza always sits al Alif. So, O, and E. When it has it's always underneath it. And we know one of the rules in final position is if it's after a long vowel at the end, it sits on a subject line. So that would be with any of your long vowels, right? Any long vowel that you have, the Hamza that follows it is going to sit on the line. Okay. Now we have to come back to medial position and a little bit more with final position. Okay. And when we first talked about the Hamza, I told you guys that you might see the Hamza sitting on an Alif chair, you might see it sitting on a Waw chair, and you might see it sitting on a Ya chair, noticing that the Ya chair doesn't have any dots. And I had taught you guys that the chairs, the kursi that it sits on, doesn't have any function except to hold the Hamza. Remember, what's more important, the king or the throne? The king, right? So the throne, the kursi there, it's just so that the Hamza can sit in the word and it can be connected and part of the word, okay? So now what we have to do is look at how can we figure out what chair does the Hamza sit on when it's in medial position or in final position, right? Because initial position, it always sits on the Alif. And if it's after a long vowel, it always sits on the line. But what about in between, right? So in order for us to do that, we have to talk first about the strength of each of these letters because these are long vowels, right? The Ya, the Waw, and the Hamza. Alif, Waw, and Ya are all long vowels, right? So when we look at these chairs, these three long vowels serve the purpose of sitting as the kursi for the Hamza. And of course, the Ya is not going to have any dots. When we look at these chairs, we have to look at the strength. The Ya chair is always the strongest. Okay? Ya chair is the strongest. And the Alif chair is considered the weakest. Okay? So when we are comparing and figuring out which one of these chairs am I going to sit the Hamza on, always think of that. The Ya chair is the strongest. So between these two, Ya is strongest, and the Alif is weakest. So between these two, imagine if these two letters were battling it out, the Waw would beat the Alif, because the Waw is stronger than the Alif. Okay, so Ya is stronger than Waw, and Waw is stronger than Alif. Alif is the weakest chair. So that's the first most important thing. Okay, so now let's get into the rules. There are about 5 rules that we're going to go over of how to write the Hamza, how to figure out what chair does it sit on when we're in medial and final position. Rule number 1 is the easiest rule. And that rule is that anytime you have a Hamza and it's making an E sound, meaning it has a kasra in the middle of a word, or you have a Hamza and it's followed by a Ya. So one of these two, either you have a Hamza and it's making the E sound, or you have a Hamza and it's followed by a Ya. So it's making the E sound, short or long, E or E. If it is making this sound, it will always sit on a Ya chair every single time. Okay? Now, when you are sitting on a Ya chair, when the Hamza is sitting on a Ya chair, it is going to connect the way the letter Ya would connect. So the letter Ya, what does it look like in initial position? Good, it looks like this, and it usually has 2 dots, right? But we're not going to write the dots because right now we're focusing it as a chair. So you would write it like this, and the Hamza would go right above it. If it was connected in between 2 letters, yeah, it looks like this. But of course, we're not writing the 2 dots. We're just writing a Hamza on top. And if it's in final position, the Ya looks like this. Of course, we're not doing it with 2 dots. We're just putting a Hamza on top of it. So the Hamza is going to connect the way that the Ya connects because it's sitting on the Ya chair. Okay, so what I want to do now is we are going to practice some words that have the Hamza making the E sound. Okay, so let's do a couple of words. Let's do su'ila. 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 You have a scene here, and scene has a dhamma, and I think what I'll do is I'll write it in a different color. Su. Then you have the E sound, su-i. Now, you know that it's a kasra because it's a short sound, but what is the kasra going to be on? That letter is the Hamza. It can't be the letter ya, because if it was letter ya with a kasra, it'd be su-yi, right? The ya makes a Y sound when when it is a consonant. But in this case, we're making the sound E, and that's the Hamza. So remember, the Hamza makes the a, u, E sound, the literal a, u, E sound in the middle, beginning, middle, or end of a word. So here you have the Hamza, and what sound is it making? The E sound. And we said that if it makes the E sound, it will sit on a ya chair. So how would I connect the letter ya after a sin? It would be immediately. We're not going to put any dots on it. We're just going to put the Hamza on it. And it has a kasra, it's making the E sound. Though you don't have to put the Hamza, the kasra there, because anytime you see ya, the Hamza sitting on a ya chair, it's always going to be making the E sound, whether it's long or short. Okay? La. Lam has a fatha. Su'ila. So the way that we would write this would be like this. Su'ila. Let's do another one. Let's do qa'il. 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 And these are not vocab words yet. So you have qaf, alif, qa'i. That's the I sound. It's not the ya, because not y, it's I. That means it's a Hamza right here with a kasra on it. So because the Hamza is making a kasra sound, it has to sit on a ya chair. What would the ya look like after an alif? Initial position. And then we're going to put the Hamza on top of it. It's got a kasra. Qa'il. Lam. Qa'il. Okay. Let's do another one. Ra'is. 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 You have a ra with a fatha, ra. And then you have the E sound. It's not ra'i, so it's not a Y sound. It's E. So that's this Hamza right here. But it's not ra'is. It's not short. It's ra'is. So that means you have a ra, you have a Hamza, and then you have a ya after it. The ya is elongating that Hamza. And you have a sin. Here are the 4 letters that you have. So what are we going to do? Let me write it a little bit below. We're going to put the ra here with a fatha. And the Hamza, because it's followed by a ya, will sit on a ya chair. So how would a ya look after ra? Ra doesn't connect, it's ride or die. We're going to put an initial position. So now I have the ra and I have the ya. I have the ra and I have the Hamza. And then I have the letter ya after it. So then I write the letter ya. So notice these are 2 separate letters. This first one, I'll put this in here in red. This right here, that is the Hamza. And then the next letter is the letter ya. So just because the Hamza is sitting on a ya chair doesn't mean that that's a ya. It's a Hamza. So if I was to spell out this word, I would spell it out ra, fatha, Hamza, ya, and then our last letter, sin, ra'is. And ra'is will be a vocab word. It means president. Comes from ras. Okay, president. Okay, rule number 2. First rule was if the ya is making an E sound, so if it has a kasra or if it's followed by a ya, it sits on a ya chair. Rule number 2 is just as easy. If the Hamza has a dhamma on it, or it's followed by a dhamma, so one of these two, if it has a dhamma or it's followed, or sorry, if it has a dhamma or it's followed by a waw, it's going to sit on a waw chair. And it's going to connect the way that the letter waw connects. So waw connects like this. And of course, waw doesn't connect to the letter after it. Okay. So if you have the Hamza and it's making the oo sound, that means you are going to put it on a waw chair. So let's do a couple of examples. Okay. Let's do the example. Tafa'ul. تفاؤل. تفاؤل. Now you have a Hamza here, and it's got a Dhamma on it. So if the Hamza has a Dhamma, what does it have to sit on? A wow chair. So I'm going to put a wow with the Hamza on top. It's being pronounced with a Dhamma. But you don't have to write the Dhamma, because anytime you see wow on a wow chair, majority of the time it's going to be making the oo sound. Tafa'ul. Wow does not connect, so lam would put by itself. Tafa'ul, which means optimism. Okay. Tafa'ul. Let's do another one. Ru'us. 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 We have ra, dhamma. Ru'u. Now you have the oo sound. And it can't, don't be confused and think, oh, because the oo sound, I'm just going to put ra, wow. If you had a ra and a wow together, it'd be ru. But I'm saying ru. Oos. If you were to transliterate it, that Hamza, it usually gets written as an apostrophe. There's a break in between the word. Ru-oos. So in order to do that break, you have to put the Hamza. That's the letter Hamza. Because it's making the oo sound, we're going to sit it on a wow share. Now, is it ru-us with a dhamma, or is it ru-oos with a wow? Good, it's long. So we're going to follow it by a wow and end with a sin. Okay? So now this right here, that sound is ru. This sound is that sound followed by u. Ru'us. And then with the sin. Ru'us. Okay. So this is when you have wow, the Hamza sitting on the wow chair, making the oo sound. Making oo sound. Okay, rule number 3 has 2 parts. Okay, now in the first two, we talked about rule number 1 is when the Hamza is making the E sound, whether it's long or short. In the second rule, we're talking about the oo sound, whether it's long or short. In the third rule, we're going to talk about the sound, whether it's long or short. If the Hamza has a fatha, okay, or it's followed by an alif. Okay, so if you have a Hamza with a fatha, or it's followed by an alif, meaning it's making the sound, there are 2 rules for this. So we're going to call this 3A and 3B. For the first rule, what you're going to do, or for both of them really, whatever the sound of the Hamza is, you're going to look at whatever the haraka is right before it. Okay? So you're going to look at the haraka before, and there's going to be basically a competition between that haraka and the sound that the Hamza is making. And whichever one is stronger, that's the chair it's going to sit on. So remember, ya is stronger than wow is stronger than alif. Okay? So ya meaning the E sound. So if you have a kasra, wow can also be represented by the oo sound. So its short version is with a dhamma, and its short version is fatha. So we're looking at the sounds. The sound of the E is stronger than the sound of the oo. The sound of the sound of oo is stronger than the sound of a. Okay? So here's an example. If you have, and let's do 3A and then we'll do the example. If you have a Hamza and it's making the sound, so it either has a fatha or it's followed by an alif. If the vowel on the letter before it is a dhamma, then that Hamza is going to sit on a wow chair. Okay? So the dhamma, it'll sit on wow chair. So let's look at an example. Su'al. Su'al. Sin with a dhamma. Su'a. It can't be sin alif, because sin alif would be sa, but I want to pronounce sin with dhamma and then have the sound. So that is a Hamza after it. And the Hamza is making the sound. I have a Hamza and it's followed by an alif. Su'al. So what do? I look at the vowel right before it. So here's where the Hamza would go, right? So the vowel right before is this, which is a dhamma. If it is a dhamma, what will it sit on? It will sit on a waw chair. So I'm going to put a waw here, and I'm going to put the hamza on top of it. Now, what sound is the hamza making? Don't let the waw confuse you. The waw isn't giving the sound, the hamza is giving the sound. Su'al, it's making the sound. So we're going to follow it by alif. Waw doesn't connect, so the alif's not connected, and alif doesn't connect to the next letter. Su'al, vocab word, means question. عندي سؤال. I have a question. عندي سؤال. سؤال. Let's do another one. فؤاد. فؤاد. Pause the video, write it down, and then check it. فؤاد. Fa has a dhamma. And then you have the sound, fu'a. So what you're looking at really is you're competing between this sound of the vowel before, the u sound, and the sound. Fu, so u versus a. U versus a, which one is stronger? U. So it's going to sit on a waw chair. It's making a long alif sound. We're going to add an alif. Fu'ad means hearts. Okay, fu'ad. So that is going to be the rule for 3a, which is if you have the alif or the fatha, the hamza is making a sound, then it's going to sit, you look at the haraka before. So if the haraka before is a dhamma, it's going to sit on a waw chair. Same exact rule, right? If you have a hamza with a fatha or with an alif, but this time the haraka before is a fatha. So there's no e sound here, there's no u sound, no competitive sounds, then it will sit on an alif chair. Okay? And then the same thing, some people have the question, well, what if it has a kasra before? It'll be the same thing, it'll sit on a ya chair. Okay? And we have less words that are like that, so I'm just focusing on the dhamma and the fatha. Okay? So kasra corresponds with the ya, dhamma corresponds with the waw, fatha corresponds with the alif, just like we always did with our corresponding short and long vowels. Okay, so let's do an example with this rule. Sa'ala, sa'ala, sa'ala. So here we have seen, there's a fatha on it, and then we have the a sound, sa'a. Are there any e sounds? No. Any u sounds? No. So because there's no e and there's no u, there's no competitive sound. So we're going to put the hamza on top of an alif. Sa'ala. Sa'ala. Okay. Let's do another example. Qara'a. Qara'a. Qara. We're ending it with the a sound. And it's not alif because alif is a long vowel. So by itself, that would be qara, but we're not saying that. We're saying qara'a. So we're going to put alif hamza, fatha. Sa'ala means he asked. Qara'a means he read. Let's do one more. Bada'at. Bada'at. Ba-da-at. We have a hamza here. Because there's no e sound, there's no u sound, there's a fatha before, we're going to put it on an alif chair. Bada'a, and end it with ta. Bada'at. Okay, bada'at. Okay, last rule. Rule number 4. So we said there's 5 rules. Really, there's 4 rules. 3 has 2 different components. Okay, so last rule here. When you have the hamza and it has a sukoon on top of it, what you're going to do, similar to rule 3, is you're going to look at whatever the vowel is before. So if there is, I'll put it here, if there is a kasra before it, it'll sit on a ya chair. If there is a dhamma before it, it'll sit on a waw chair. And if there's a fatha before it, it'll sit on an alif chair. Very easy. Whatever its corresponding vowel is, that's what it's going to sit on. So if you have it making a sukoon sound, you're stopping on the hamza, you just look at the vowel right before it. Okay? So let's do a couple of examples. Ya'kul. Good. Remember when the Hamza has a sukoon, we called it a glottal stop. Makes the sound, that jerk sound. Like a slight pause in your chest. Ya, kul. So we have ya, fatha. Ya. So it's ya. And then that apostrophe. You're stopping there. Ya, kul. So we look at this vowel right before, because this is where the Hamza is going to go, right? So we look at the vowel before as a fatha. If it's a fatha, what is it going to sit on? Good, the alif chair. It's got a sukoon on it. Alif doesn't connect to the next letter. Kul, kaf, dhamma, lam, yakul. Means he eats or he's eating. Let's do another one. Let's do yu'min. Yu'min. You have ya and a dhamma. Yu. We're not saying yu'min, we're saying yu'min, the sound. So there's a hamza here. So we look at the vowel before, which is a dhamma. So it's going to sit on a waw chair. Yu'min means he believes. Be nice if I could write, huh? In English. There we go. He believes. Let's do another one. Ra's. Ra's means head. Ra's. You have ra, fatha, ra, then the sound. Because it's a fatha before, it's going to sit on an alif chair. Sukoon and sin. Ra's. The word ra'is comes from this word. Ra's, because it's the head. Let's do one more. Bi'r. Bi'r. Bi with the sound. Bi'r. Ba here is making a kasra sound. So it's going to sit on a ya chair. Going to connect it the way that you would connect a ya. Sukoon. And then the ra. So when it has sukoon, it's very easy. Whatever the vowel is before, it's going to sit on that corresponding long vowel. Okay? And those are the rules of a hamza. In the next lesson, we are going to do the last couple of markings that we